all I do is look at what way the most recent bar closes the way however it does amongst the region of whatever push is in play. So does it close at the overextended high region? Does it close at the high region? And then how does it close at that region of whatever that is? So I was looking for as of European, as of 7 a.m. open, like European motor trading session open, which I classify as 7 till 8. I know 7 till 10. I know it is 8 technically, but UK time anyway. But I do also consider 7 till 10. So if I just go through all the time frames and then hopefully this chart loads because it's making this one slow. We've literally got 2 minutes. I'm on. So, it was just starting the weekly. You can see the way the weekly's in place forming. I'm not gonna talk much about it. I'm just gonna scroll through them all because I don't have time. Remember, what's the in-play atom push and where did the most recent bar close the way however it did at. So in this case it closed wick rejecting at the high region, but it's a bit iffy to be honest. It's not that clear of a wick rejection. So what do? You investigate whether that wick rejection at the highs is likely to amount to anything with how next step lower time frame recent bar closes close the way they did at their region. In this case it's wick rejecting at the high region, and it's wick rejected, it closed wick rejecting at the high region of the push to the upside. So and then here, bit iffy to be honest. It kind of wick rejected the low region of a push to the downside, but then this uncovers it, makes it nice. It's like wick rejecting highs that you just pull lower, signifying that like the what's it gonna say? See, I don't even know what time frame this big bar, those big bars are showing there. Like, what time frame is this? I don't know. Is it the 8? I'm not sure. Anyway, then so like the way the 8 hours kind of set up, it points towards the 12 and daily likely to have some sort of a reaction because like the most recent 8 hour bar closed quite nicely, wick rejecting at this region, signifying a possible reversal with the 12 and daily also too. But then the 4 hour it's wick rejecting at the lows. Wick rejecting at the lows. Ready to pull higher. So then you go to the 1 hour most recent bar close and you see how it's set up. And anyway, you see that it was wick rejecting at the low region of a push to the downside, which you could kind of classify this as one whole push, and it was wick rejecting at the lows, so it's likely to have some sort of reaction. Now, what you then do is mark the fib, and then I would just look for a nice bar close at the OTR region, but ideally it would go above. Ideally, doesn't need to, but anyway, this is suitable. And then it closed here, and then basically what you're looking for is just looking for a nice you're looking for a nice bar close with a sufficient playable range. But this playable range was closed in, so then what you're looking for from this point is a further nice bar close. So is this like nice? No, it's not. It's like not a prominent wick rejection. It is wick rejecting, but it's not good. So you basically like you need because this playable range was closed in, you would need a new playable range to get involved. And it's like, well, if a new bar forms like this, you're not gonna like, just because this confirmed doesn't mean that this is gonna. So it's like you need to be, especially with euro. I'm not really doing that well with euro, to be honest, recently, even though I'm up about 6% of my account for euro, but I don't really like it anymore, I must say. So anyway, yeah, but GU, I'm good with. confidently can say that. Um, so yeah, GU was also kind of iffy. It was worth rejecting slightly. So what you want to see is just an OTR retrace. I don't know why it's on this feed. CFD. Fuck is it? Yeah, open anyway. Who cares? It should be marked up. Yeah, it is. See. So, yeah. Also, yesterday, Monday. Yeah, Monday was beautiful. You had a wick rejection, nice bar close, and then you wanted to see a nice 59 close, and then sell, but that didn't happen. It just went without you. Here, this. Oh, actually, that is kind of okay. So if we just do a breakdown on this, no point looking at the 432 day, to be honest. You're slightly wick rejecting at the overextended high region or push to the upside. So this signifies that like a reversal of some sort is likely nearing within the next bar, basically, because this is short-term pushes. This isn't consecutive bar pushes, like for example this. So here you had a complete opposing bar close as of this bar close. So as of here, after a consecutive bar push to the downside that then began to wick reject it. The low region is not overextended by any means, but then you have this flip, and then this bar closes more bullish and then bearish, also under the context of a new flip of consecutive bar pushes, and it just continues to the upside, right? And then you closing at the overextended high region here, right at its highs. It is likely to just keep carry on higher, but you would investigate whether that is likely to be the case or not relative to how lower time frames are set up, and clearly it wasn't. So anyway, and then anyway you have a flip here, consecutive bar pushes, see how good these actually are. Then here it's a little bit iffy, but you do have a complete opposing bar flip. But you are wick rejecting. I mean, TT trades wise, you're also close below. You're in a Carlson wise, CBP push wise, you are amongst coming right after consecutive bar push and play at the downside with quite a nice wick rejection closing below previous day high. It is likely still, in my opinion, to go for the low, but also it is also a flip after quite a healthy kind of quantity to the downside. Um, like flip. So I would also probably look for the high, and what do you know? It takes both. And here, I would say that a new push is in play, but it is also wick rejecting at the highs, but still it closed above. It also closed decently bullish. So I would say new push is in play, but see, you would also investigate this with lower time frames if you were doing top-down market cycle phase analysis, and then you would quickly come to the conclusion that yeah, it's probably likely to push lower here. And then what do you know? And then anyway, yeah, so consecutive bar push wise, that's like how you would be analysing the bars. But in player and push wise, it's like a little bit more confined to, I mean, look, it's like individual bars, pushes. So it's like, within the next bar or possibly two, it like some sort of a retracement is possibly likely based on the signs what are shown at the overextended high region. So yeah, and then that's also confirmed with the 12-hour, wick rejecting at the high region. Um, that was a really good bar close, to be honest. Um, yeah, and this was also Monday. Like, this was so good for sales on Monday, man. But yeah, this is also wick rejecting, but for some reason in my head, I classify this a little bit iffy. But it is wick rejecting at the high, so you would have to investigate it. 9-hour kind of closes a standard bearish close at the. This is a surprising thing to see with in play out and pushes. You kind of have one whole push spanning over like 3 bars, and then like here just continues to expand higher. Then you start to wick reject, but then you kind of come higher and close. Is a decent bearish close, but with a slight wick rejection at the low, wick rejection at the lows. So you would kind of want to investigate whether that's likely to amount to anything. Anyway, with this, same sort of thing. Wick rejecting at the low region of a push to the short term, push to the downside. 4 hour, same thing, but does kind of look a bit bearish, to be honest. 3 hour, same thing. 2 hour, it was really good actually. That confirmed like that yes, it would make sense to look for sells, but you would have to wait for a setup. So you would just mark, and then you see, look at the 1 hour, and you see the same thing confirmed. So it's wick rejecting right at the low region of a push to the downside. You would not want to, especially with how next step higher time frames for wick rejecting at this region. You would definitely want to see a nice bar close, and wow, like in my personal opinion, based on the iffiness of this given day playing out, bearish, and then the 9 hours wick rejecting at lows, the 8 is, the 4 is, the 3 is. You would probably not want. You'd probably want to see a bit of a nicer wick rejection compared to the body, to be honest. So I wouldn't. Yeah, and then I mean that would also figure for this, but yeah. So you would basically want to see with a body such as this, right? Like it's about that, right? You would want to see a all right, well, you'd want to see I mean, this is like you'd want to see it at least about like this. So just picture this as the body. You'd want to see quite a stood out prominent wick rejection, like a stood out one stands out. This doesn't really, like this, like something like that. So there we go. And also that's also kind of proportionate to if it did close about there to this completely well and truly, and then also it's somewhat okay with the body, but it is also quite significantly smaller than the body. Of course, here that would be perfect, but yeah. So that's what I'm be looking for today, and I'm still looking for, of course, because we've still got an hour, and also the best setups do tend to form at around 10. So from my experience, so yeah, that's what I'm looking for, and then the same for euro. But I really don't really like euro anymore. I've went off it. I'm not really good with it. I just kind of get good reads on it usually. But the 2 hour, it's wick rejecting at the lows. The 3 hour also is too short term. 4 hour is also the 8. It looks good to reverse, to be honest, and then with the context of how next step higher time rims are set up, I'm pretty sure this bar. So if you're gonna have to just go to 10 and then 7 and look at what happened. So it opened, kind of traded higher, and then yeah. So the 9 hour wick rejected the lows like that, yeah. So it went up and then wick rejected the lows. So it's a bit iffy. Is it gonna retrace first before it pushes lower? Because it does look good to push lower relative to how the next step lower time rims are set up in the context of the 12 hour. It's wick rejecting at the highs. So is the daily. But you would definitely want to see the 1 hour set up pretty darn nice. You'd want to see a proportionate wick rejection. This just is not what by any means. I mean, this is the complete opposite of a proportionate wick rejection, to be honest, literally. But this would be suitable. And then obviously you would have a really nice playable range. So I may as well mark that up now because I am going to be looking for a trade. And also I haven't had a trade in a while. Well, not really a while, but enough time for it to be another trade popping up soon. And also it's also on both GU and EU, which I like. I don't really like when it's just euro. Well, I don't mind pound, to be honest, because I can just do pound so well. But yeah. And anyway, if you do get that nice 1 hour bar close, you'll then basically want to see a nice playable range, ISLQS, interest and liquidity sweep, and then also a strong 15M close. So yeah. So if you get this, you got your 1 hour set up appropriately. Now you look for a setup. what does that consist of? Playable range to play, like so not like, for example, if you're wicked here and then you close like down here, and then a 15M nice bar close like formed and formed about here, you wouldn't want to take it, you know. So the cutoff point for a setup forming would be about here, but obviously you don't really consider that until it gets there. But as of here, you just want to say playable range, ISL QS, and then strong 15M close. That's it. Onside the direction that's likely to prevail in the context of the higher time frame narrative, so comprised of what probable movements are likely to occur relative to time frames, top downs, recent bar closes, ways, and how they closed the way however they did amongst the region of what pushes in play. So in the 8 hours context, it closed at the high region of its short-term push in play, with rejection at the high region. And if you notice too, we just go to the like, I mean, this I'm referring to short-term pushes, right? So if you follow my cursor, this is likely to just continue higher. Yeah, it does go lower a bit first, but this is also likely to continue higher. And then you're starting to wick reject, come lower, wick reject, short-term push higher. So yeah, so here you do come lower, and then you come higher, short-term push and play at the upside, and then you wick reject from that high region, and then you close, wick rejecting at the high region. So like, you're likely to come lower overall. And then in the context of the 12-hour and daily, that's also the case. So, you know, it is likely to possibly look good. It does look okay to look for a setup, but then how you see like the 4-hour and stuff set up, we're projecting at the lower region of its push, you know, as of prior to 7, you know. So you're looking at the chart, how it's set up too. Like, I'm doing this out of experience, yeah, but like out of like just ignoring this bar, but you're looking at how the chart set up as of 7 and what directions likely to play out over 7 as a result of how each bar closed. Like, so here it's likely to possibly pull higher, to be honest, you know. With the 8-hour, it's likely to pull lower, but that's in the context of the 8-hour. 4-hour short term is shorter than 8-hour. So, you know, this just paints the picture for how you want to see the 1-hour setup in order to get on board the possible bearishness. So, you know, you just want to see a really nice bar close at a retraced level. So that would be here, and then or better, here or better, and we're all the way here. So yeah, anyway, now I'm going to do the breakdown of the 14th of June 2023.